What's good, guys? Welcome back to Why Not With Books with your girl Kay. As you can see by the title, we are reviewing Yellow Wife. You know the vibes. I have my wine. I hope you guys are drinking. But anyways, let's get straight into it. So, Yellow Wife. Boom. So the book is presented in slavery times. So the year 1805, around 1800s. We're just gonna say that. And we have the main character, Phoebe. As you already know, I have my notes here, right? So Phoebe is a fair-skinned slave. So if you don't know what fair-skinned means, aka light-skinned, right? She is on a plantation that's owned by Master Jacobs. Master Jacobs is, for the most part, he's known to be I don't want to say lenient master, but he's a fair master, right? Phoebe is on the plantation with her mom. Her mom is known as a healer. She deals with herbs. She deals with flowers. She does it all. You know, for every sickness, every problem, the mom has a recipe for that, right? The mom is also a seamstress. She teaches Phoebe. The mom has big goals for Phoebe. Like, the mom is still instilled in Phoebe that, you know, you're only a slave by name. You're not a slave in your mind. The mom deals with a lot in order to protect her daughter. So Phoebe is the daughter of Master Jacobs. So that is why Phoebe is fair-skinned, because the mom, unfortunately, was forced to sleep with the master. They had Phoebe, and then the mom is like, all right, you know, this is what's gonna happen. You're gonna get an education. You're gonna get out of slavery, right? So Master Jacobs is on the type of timing that, you know, Phoebe is his little girl. You know, at the end of the day, she's still a slave, but he taught her how to read. You know, Phoebe grew up on the plantation, but Phoebe grew up with special treatment. Like, she's the only one who knew how to read. She got to play music. She learned how to play the piano. She got extra food. She got extra treats, stuff like that. And she's beautiful. So that was the perks of being the master's daughter, but at the same time, you know, she was still a slave, and she had to still, you know, she had to work. So the mom, in layman's term, was her protector. Like, she shielded Phoebe from a lot of things. And in a way, Phoebe, at the time in the book, Phoebe's 17. Phoebe is in the mindset that, you know, she knows about slaves. She knows that she is a slave, but she grew up with special treatment, that she's forgetting that she is a slave. She's forgetting how vindictive these masters could be. She's forgetting that, you know, at the end of the day, she is still black. People will still see her as black. She's forgetting all those things. So when she doesn't know true hardship, like, she never experienced the true definition of being a slave. She's never been beaten. She's never been shackled. She's never worked in the field. She's never going without clothing. Like, if she did have clothing, you know, it wasn't ripped up. It was new. Her mother could sew her stuff. She knew how to write. She knew how to. She was very smart. You know, she had a smart mouth too, and she got away with a lot of things. So that's what you know, made Phoebe, when she actually started to experience struggles, and I'll go through that blinded her, because her mother shielded her. I understand the mother's protection, but the mother made it seem like, you know, although, you know, we on this plantation, you're free to, you know, not do what you want, but you are different from the other slaves, and that steered Phoebe wrong. Like, that mindset steered Phoebe wrong. But I'm all for the mom and instilling in Phoebe that, you know, she's only a slave in name. She's not a slave in body and physicality. I understand that, but, you know, you kind of set Phoebe up for failure in a way, especially during those times, right? So the Master Jacob told the mom once Phoebe turned 18, he was going to sign her papers so that she could attend the all-girls schools in Massachusetts to pursue her education. So all Phoebe's life and all the mother life, they believed him, and that's all she worked towards. And she's like, you know, at 18, I'm going to be out of here. I'm going to get my freedom. You know, nothing's going to deter that, stuff like that. So she had faith. And in my head, while I'm reading this, I'm like, Especially during those times, you never trust a white person during those times. Like, and that's real. You know, I'm not talking about right now. I'm talking about in the book. During those times, black people could not trust white people. I'm sorry. They stole land. They beat, manipulated, raped. Like, there was no trust to be given. I'm sorry. That's how I feel. Right? That's during those times, though. Now we in different times, different circumstances, you know, and I'll leave it at that. But anyways, right? So we'll go through the book. So all right. So talked about that. Okay. Phoebe is in love with a boy that's he rides the horses, he mends the horses, he cleans the stable. His name is Essex, right? Essex, he gets, you know, for the most part, he's a strong, dedicated, loyal gentleman. He's respectable, he's handsome. He loves Phoebe just as much. You know, Phoebe wants to save Essex. Phoebe wants Essex to, you know, be with her. At one point, Essex is like, I would just run away with you. We could live a happy ever after life, right? And there's that. I also should mention Master Jacob's wife. What's her name? Alright, we'll find her name throughout the book, right? She can't stand her Phoebe. She can't stand Phoebe mom. She knows that Phoebe is her husband's daughter. Her husband's daughter, but she just can't fathom that, you know, he has a fair-skinned child, right? So she makes Phoebe life hell. She's rude, she's disrespectful. She thinks she owns everybody. She beats the slaves for no reason. You look at her wrong, you talk to her crazy. She's a manipulated, I'm not gonna say that. We just chalk everything up to her being a scorned woman, right? So let me fast forward a little bit. One night. Oh, they call her Miss Master in the book. That's what they call her. All right. So one day, Phoebe's mom lets her know that her and Miss Master Jacobs is going away on business, right? It could be a couple weeks, it could be a couple months. So his wife is already upset that, you know, he's taking his mistress with him on a business trip, but she can't go and she has to stay and run the plantation. So when she's, you know, there on the plantation, whatever, the slaves go through hell, right? So, you know, the mother leaves for the trip. Phoebe, you know, is gonna go through hell, and that's just that. Because at one point, before Master Jacobs went on the trip, the Mrs. Master, her personal slave, I forgot her name, had passed away. So Phoebe was now entitled to live in a big house. She was entitled to do the work for Mrs. Master. Mrs. Master didn't like Phoebe. She didn't want her near her, didn't want her to touch her. She looked at her with disgust. She made her sleep in a closet, a small little closet. She made her wake up early. She was just mean. She took out all her frustration and anger onto Phoebe. And this is when Phoebe really started experiencing hard work. She really started understanding that she was a slave. But her main thing is that once Master Jacob come back, she'll be 18, she's gonna leave. But you know, Mrs. Master had other things in plan, right? So at a point in time, Phoebe and Essex would sneak around at night. You know, they were so pause. So her and Essex definitely would sneak around at night, right? The mother always instilled in Phoebe that you got I don't want you having no slave babies. I don't want you being like these other slaves just making babies. I want you to get an education. So Phoebe's always on the type of timing that, listen, I'm going to save myself. I'm not gonna have no babies until, you know, I'm free and I could, you know, basically handle that. All right, I'll make my mama proud. So one night while her and Essex was sneaking around, you know, kissing and stuff like that, he told her that, you know, I gotta tell you something, right? So he told her that at night, Mrs. Master forces him to have sex with her. And if he don't, he would get beat, right? So Mrs. Master actually is pregnant. She's currently pregnant, right? So Phoebe did the math and come to find out, Phoebe determined that Essex could be the father of the child. And that's when shit was gonna get real, because they knew if that baby came out black, Essex was going to die. So immediately Phoebe's crying. She's like, "You took her." And at that point, before he even told her that, Phoebe had decided that she was gonna give her virginity to Essex. So that just put a damper in everything, right? So Phoebe decides that she's gonna come up with a plan to still help Essex, because she still loves him and knows that he could be in danger. Fast forward, right? Let me make sure I get the timeline right. All right, so this all happens in the same day. So when Master Jacobs and Phoebe's mom is due to return back to the plantation, Mrs. Master goes into labor. So Phoebe also was trained in giving birth. Her mother did the same thing, right? So while Phoebe is helping Mrs. Master give birth, she gets word that her mother has been in an accident on the way back. So her mother is now back on the plantation. She's bleeding from her leg. She's hurt really bad. Phoebe is being forced to deliver the baby. She can't check up on her mom. She knows that her mom, she could give her mom some remedy, because her mom had like this juice in a jar that they would drink and make you feel better. The Mrs. Master's like, "Oh, basically you're not going nowhere. You're gonna deliver this baby." So the baby gets delivered. I'm fast forwarding. The baby comes out black. It's Essex baby. Phoebe rushes to her mom, you know, trying to work her magic, trying to do healing and stuff, but the mom is getting worse, right? The Mrs. Master tells Phoebe that she's not sending a doctor to check on her mom. That's how vindictive she is. But they didn't care. They looked at slaves as property. So it is what it is, you know. One slave died, they could get another more. So she didn't really care. And the Mrs. Master wasn't going to send help for Phoebe's mom, because she knew that her husband was sleeping with her. So, you know, that gives her more incentive to kill the mom, to let the mom die, not kill her, right? So that's that. The next day after that, there was a lady in the kitchen named Mrs. Hope, right? Mrs. Hope, long story short, and Mrs. Hope, Phoebe, and Essex come up with a plan to help him escape. At one point, they had wrote Essex a pass to go get some stuff in town, right? So while the commotion's going on, Phoebe's mom is dying. The ladies in Miss Masters in labor. So Essex goes to town. He never comes back. So that's how he escapes. She wrote him a pass, right? So now you know how you have the people who watch over the plantation. I forgot what they call the watchman or whatever. So he comes a few days after, you know, while everything's going on, and asking for Essex. Prior to that, Phoebe's mom, sadly, when she goes to see her mom, you know, says that her little last word, her mom dies. So now, you know, Phoebe's all alone. She takes Phoebe also writes in a diary. She has a diary that she writes in, but she has to hide it. Her mom used to stitch like hidden pockets in her dresses, so she puts that in there with a bunch of herbs and stuff, because they're gonna clean up her mom's space, right? Now everybody realized that Essex is gone. Master Jacob is somewhere in another town. He's going through it. He's still hurt from the accident, right? So what else? They called the overseer. Oh yeah, overseer. That's what you call him, overseer, right? So Mrs. Master's going crazy, talking about, "Oh, where's my best nigga? He's escaped. Where's not nigger? My best nigger has escaped. Where is he at?" you know, she's blaming Phoebe because she know Phoebe and Essex hang around. Anybody that has something to do with it, she stopped giving the slaves food and clothing and stuff like that. Like the whole fucking plantation is in a turmoil, right? So at one point, Mrs. Master knows that she can't keep a black baby. So Phoebe goes to like a tree where there's herb, like there was a like deep in like the back of the plantation, there's trees that's for healing and stuff like that, herbs. While she's over there, you know, remember her mom and stuff like that, she sees Mrs. Master at the freaking lake, right? Mrs. Master drowned the baby. She drowned the baby. Then she had the nerve to hand the baby to Phoebe and tell Phoebe to get rid of the baby. Phoebe was just like, she was going through it. She went through it. Let me drink some wine on that. Because I was tearing up. Like, you going to do that to him? You rape Essex and then you going to kill the baby. Right? So now, boom. So the next night, Phoebe gets into it with Mrs. Master. Phoebe is fed up. She's upset that Mrs. Master didn't call the doctor to save her mom. And had she did, her mom would be alive. So when Phoebe talked back to Mrs. Master now, Mrs. Master went to go slap Phoebe. Phoebe grabbed Mrs. Master's hand as she fucking should, and told Mrs. Masters off. Basically told Mrs. Master like, you don't put your hand on me, this, that, and the third, right? So now Mrs. Master shook or whatever. Now she shook. So Phoebe walking around the house thinking she good or whatever. So now you already know Mrs. Master has something for that ass. So after a few days pass, they have a funeral for Phoebe's mom, right? After the funeral, Mrs. Master, Phoebe gets called to the front of the house, right? Mrs. Master standing there with a stupid ass look on her face. There's a carriage there, right? Long story short, she sold Phoebe. Phoebe had on a nice dress, a red dress that her mom had made, right? So Phoebe's like, oh, you can't do this. Once Mr. Jacob finds out he's gonna come and get me, Mrs. Master, I could do whatever I want. You think that you could raise your hand at me and assault me and get away with it? I'm like, you see how white people be lying? Like you know, these modern day Karens take after her ass. Like, come on. Like, she didn't hit you. She stopped you from hitting her. Like, what are you talking about? She assaulted you. I'm like, yo, y'all really be lying. Like, come on. But anyways, so now Phoebe's being sold, right? Make sure I got everything. Da-da-da-da-da. All right, so once Phoebe gets into the little wagon with the jail thing, she gets a freaking smell. So she meets another girl who was had her baby beaten out of her. It's sad stuff. Gruesome stuff. I'm not gonna go through that, right? So, like, again, I said Phoebe's educated. She's never been whipped. She's lived a good life. On the journey she was going to what is called leper jail. So leper jail is the devil's playground. That's what it's nicknamed. The devil's playground is hell. Hell on earth. Well, being a slave was hell on earth, but that's hell 2.0, right? So now she's on the journey. She's on the journey to leper. She's walking. She has to walk for days. She gets in blisters. She's getting pulled. She's chained. She's getting cursed at. She almost got raped. Oh, let me pause right there. I missed the part. So before they helped Essex escape, Phoebe did have sex with Essex, right? They made love, and that's that. So I'm just gonna keep that. I just want to let it be known that at one point they did have sex, right? Back to her travel. So you know she's going through hell. She's laying down. She almost she was almost raped. She got saved by the bell from another dude that was like, oh, leave her alone, whatever. But she's beautiful. So and during that time, these white men love fair-skinned women, you know, and that's that. So it's like they getting a taste of the black part. You know, she's not the female's not too white, not too light, but not too dark. She's just right in between. You get what I'm saying? Like, ridiculous. So anyway, they get to the jail. So she's put in a little a room that's full up of slaves, and it stinks. The smell is nauseating, right? So she ends up being put on the auction block, in which she's bought by what's his name? She's bought by the owner of the jail. His name is Leper. He's the owner of the leper jail, right? So now she's getting adjusted to life at the jail. He, you know, for the most part, once he bought her, she's getting adjusted to life. She's been in the jail for about 2 months now. She's, for the most part, she's getting treated fairly well. You know, she thinks is not living a good life, but she's not. Again, she's still not living the life of other slaves, and it's only due to her skin tone and her beauty. And she also has beautiful long hair. So during that time, your skin tone, your looks got you far. I'm sorry. So after the 2 months at the jail, she finds out that she is pregnant. She is pregnant with Essex's baby. She hasn't heard from Essex. She doesn't know what Essex is. And she's going through that. So for some reason, again, Mr. Leper is treating her nice. He's trying to figure out why she's getting special treatment. He's buying her clothes. He's buying her shoes. He's making sure she eats. He's making sure she's good. So she befriends another little girl named July. So she treats July like she's a little sister. She loves July. She wants to protect July, right? She tells July about her old master, and then how the old master's supposed to come for her. And then, but long down the line, Phoebe ends up finding out that her master Jacobs passed away. All his fortune was lost. The wife remarried, and the person took the money. And now Phoebe, reality hits her. She now realized that she is not going to leave the jail. She's not leaving the jail at all. She's going to be stuck into slavery. She's not being free. She's not going to the school. So that's going through her head, right? So now she gives birth to Essex's son. What was Essex's son's name? Hold on. Forgot. Monroe. So she gives birth to Monroe. She loves Monroe. She loves her son, but for some reason, Master Jacobs don't take an interest in her son. He doesn't like the son, right? So long fast forward, Master Jacobs starts sleeping with Phoebe. He makes it known to Phoebe that I want you to be. I chose you for a reason. Like, I want you to be basically not my wife, but the person that I want you to, you know, the head mistress of the plantation. So Phoebe, you know, decides that to protect her son and protect the interests, she's going to uphold that position. She tells you know, Leper that, you can't sleep with nobody. It's just me. He's just like, all right, whatever, right? So he's basically trying to separate Phoebe from her son. She decides that she is going to low-key educate him. She's going to show him that, you know, despite everything, I love you, right? So everybody, you know, loves Monroe for the most part. So that's that. All right, keep going. All right. So there was another slave, I forgot her name, told Phoebe that, you know, you think you live in a good life now. You think he's all sweet, but the reason why they call him the devil is because he has another side. She finally saw that devil side, but like a little hint of it when he made her watch a woman get beat, right? The woman was pregnant. Leper beat the woman's baby out of her. Do you know how sick you have to be to beat a baby out of a woman, right? And that was just a hint of it. And the reason why he beat this lady is because she knew how to read, and she was teaching slaves how to read, right? So at one point, he found out that Phoebe know how to read because he set Phoebe up. So this is how he set Phoebe up. So long story short, he put a book, Oliver Twist in Phoebe's room after he made Phoebe move into the big house, right? So he put the book there. Phoebe picks up the book and starts reading it at night, right? So that's how he found out Phoebe could read. So that was a lesson to Phoebe. Like, if you, anyone who teaches slaves how to read, is you're gonna get dealt like that. So she gets scared, she never reads again, right? So that's that. So we're gonna keep going, fast forward. All right. Okay, so anyway, so long fast forward. Let me make sure. Hold up. It's mad stuff that happened. Okay. All right, fast forward. Boop, boop, boop. All right. So anyway, long story short, she gets pregnant with the master, the leper master, whatever you want to call it, first child. It's a girl. They name her what's some weird ass name? It was an H2. Can't remember the name, right? She gets pregnant with the girl, right? After she get pregnant, she get pregnant a couple more times, right? We're gonna fast forward because I know the video is probably long. Next thing you know, she overhears him talking about a Negro up in the north giving trouble. Come to find out, it's Essex, right? So Essex is the one that's stirring up trouble. So everybody goes to him for treatment, for punishment and stuff like that. Not treatment, punishment. So long story short, the patrol people that was up north brought Essex back down to the south so the leper could teach him a lesson. So the whole time he prepares a whole freaking like ceremony for him to showcase just how bad the treatment is, right? So that's going on. Fast forward, Essex gets to Essex gets to the jail. Phoebe's hoping to see Essex. She doesn't see him that day. On the day of the ceremony, whatever, I don't even call it a ceremony. It's fucking, I don't even know what to call it. It's just like, it was like the day of the showcase of the beating. We're gonna call it that. Essex is brought onto the platform. He looks up and he sees Phoebe. Their eyes connect. Phoebe is still in love with Essex. Essex doesn't know that Phoebe has her son, right? So, long story short, he beat Essex, gave Essex 96 lashes. During the lashes, he put like what kind of alcohol stuff on his, as he'll hit him, put the stuff on it, will burn him. Essex was beaten bad. Essex goes back into a room, whatever. While Master whatever was about going off to business, whatever, off the plantation, Phoebe snuck to see him, right? To nurse him back to health or whatever. During those times, she told Essex that, you know, I love you, I'll never stop loving you. I have to get you out of here. He's gonna kill you. You have a son. At the same time, she finds out that the master is sleeping with another mistress. And during this time, she got mad. And I was just like, why are you mad? Like, let him do what he gonna do. You know what I'm saying? What you mad for? But she was really mad for the simple fact that, again, he said it was just her. She thought it was just her. He broke the promise. He sleep with somebody else. He got this other girl pregnant, this, that, and the third, right? And I was just like, what the hell? So, and at the same time, you know, she got all these kids. She did lose a child as well. But Monroe is being treated bad. Monroe, the master makes Monroe go work in the fields while her other kids, you know, gets the special treatment. Her other kids gets to learn. Her other kids gets clothing. Her other kids, you know, for the most part is living a good life while Monroe is just reaping. He's not reaping any of the benefits. He's getting treated like a slave. And he's so vindictive that at one point he had took Monroe away onto another plantation to teach her a lesson and stuff like that, right? Because he found out that Phoebe was helping Essex and that Phoebe's in love with Essex. And, you know, Phoebe main goal is to protect her children. So Phoebe's now coming with a plan to help Essex and help Essex get free and stuff like that. At one point, Phoebe was getting passes to go off on the plantation. She met a couple people that helped her get some passes to help, Essex escape. So they had started a fire. There was an older lady that worked on the plantation. They started a fire, right? During that fire, she was able to get Monroe. She was able to get the old lady, and she was able to get Essex off the plantation onto a boat and free. And they was free to the south, right? She could have went, but she chose not to. She went back to the plantation because her other children was there. She wasn't going to leave her other children. Fast forward, the children grew up. The last child, so hold up one second. She had 3 girls and 2 boys, but she lost one of the boys, right? So where is it at? I thought I wrote their names down. Oh, it's on my phone. My phone is recording. Anyway, she had 3 girls, right? So 2 of the girls grew older. Again, 2 of them are fair skinned like her, and 1 of them is really white. So the oldest 2 girls decide that they're gonna live their life as white women because it's better for them, and they don't want to tell anybody that their mother is black. And the youngest daughter, I forgot, they called the youngest daughter Bird. Bird refused to live as a white woman. Bird decided that she's gonna embrace her culture, her race. She's gonna fight for equality. She's gonna fight for her people, and she stayed with her mom. The girls end up moving away back to Massachusetts. At one point, Essex and Monroe, they grew together. Essex took care of his son. Essex ended up dying. Phoebe ends up staying there with the homeboy. He ends up dying. He ended up dying not once. But she's raising Bird, and that's how the story basically ends. It was a good book. Like I said, I give it a 4 out of 5. The reason why I couldn't put the book down only because I needed to find out what shit Phoebe was gonna do. Cause at some point, Phoebe was, like I said, she was so sheltered from what real slave life was like that she was pissing me off with her thinking and believing that these people had her best interest at her. But I couldn't fault her for the simple fact that that was what she was learning. That's what she was told. So, and she knew no better. She for the most part throughout Phoebe's life, despite the little treatment that she went through a lot mentally. Physically, she didn't go through she was raped. At one point Leper had raped her, but for the most part she went through a lot mentally. I understand that. But for the simple fact that compared to other slaves, I stand by this, she lived a better life than other slaves. She got to wear the good clothes, got to eat the good food. So compared to other slaves, she lived a good life. But I wish at the end of the book, she finally realized no matter what, she was always a slave. And I was happy that she finally came to that realization. But when she came to the realization, it was kind of a little late. I loved how she, no matter what, she was going to protect her son Monroe. She didn't let no one deter her from protecting her son. And I thought that you really saw a mother's love. Like, she understood that her dreams of becoming free and pursuing an education wasn't gonna happen, but she wanted that for her children, and that did happen. Essex grew up to be a strong black man. Her children, sadly, the 2 oldest ones, they can't fathom with the idea that they're black, but it's the world that they're living in. So I can understand their choice to live as a white woman. But I'm Bird all the way. I don't care. I'm black and I'm proud. But I enjoyed the read. It was worth the purchase. It definitely was worth the purchase. If you read The Yellow Wife, drop in the comments, let me know. I don't know what the next book review is, but I know I ordered a lot of books. And I have 3 more requests. I haven't ordered those books yet, but I'm gonna get to it. But until next time, guys, your girl is out.